This is extract 15 from Terry Pratchett's Truckers. There was a light. It skewered down on the two of them, white and searing, so that they stood over a black pool of their own shadows. Gerda looked up in terror at the brilliant globe that appeared above them. Sorry, I think that was me, said Maskin's voice from the shadows. I found this sort of lever thing, and when I pushed it, it went click. Sorry. Said Gerda, mirthlessly. An electric light, of course. Gave me quite a start for a moment. Maskin appeared in the circle of brightness and looked at the paper. I heard you reading, he said. Is there anything interesting? Gerda pored over the print again. Notice to all staff, he read. I am sure we're all aware of the increasingly poor financial performance of the store in recent years. This rambling old building, while quite suitable for the leisured shopper of 1905, is not appropriate in the exciting world of the 90s. And as we all know, there have unfortunately been marked stock losses and a general loss of custom following the opening of newer major outlets in the town. I'm sure our sorrow at the closure of Arnold Brothers, which, as you know, was the foundation of the Arnco fortunes, will be lessened by the news of plans by the group to replace it with an Arnco Super Saver store in the Neil Armstrong shopping mall. To this end, the store will close at the end of the month and will shortly be demolished to make way for an exciting new Arnco leisure complex. Gerda fell silent and put his head in his hands. There's those words again, said Maskin slowly. Closure. Demolished. What's leisure? Said Grimmer. The stationary ignored her. Maskin took her gently by the arm. I think he wants to be alone for a while, he said. He pulled the tip of his spear across the broad sheet of paper, creasing it, and folded it up until it was small enough to carry. I expect the abbot will want to see it, he said. He'll never believe us if we... He stopped. Grimmer was staring over his shoulder. He turned and looked out through the glass part of the great door into the corridor beyond. There was a shadow out there, human-shaped and growing bigger. What is it? She said. Maskin gripped the spear. I think, he said, it may be prices slashed. They turned and hurried over to Gerda. There's someone coming, Maskin whispered. Get down on the floor, quickly. Demolished, moaned Gerda, hugging himself and rocking from side to side. Everything must go. Final reductions. We're all doomed. Yes, but do you think you could go and be doomed on the floor? Said Maskin. He's not himself. You can see that, said Grimmer. Come on, she added in a horribly cheerful voice. Upsy daisy. She lifted him up bodily and helped him towards the rope of clips. Maskin followed them, walking backwards with his eye on the door. He thought, he's seen the light. It should be dark in here now, and he's seen the light, but I'll never got it off in time, and anyway, it won't make any difference. I don't believe in any demon called prices slashed, and now here he comes. What a strange old world. He sidled into the shade of a pile of paper and waited. He could hear Gerda's feeble protests down around floor level. Suddenly, they stopped. Perhaps Grimmer had hit him with something. She had a way of taking obvious action in a crisis. The door drifted open very slowly. There was a figure there. It looked like a human in a blue suit. Maskin wasn't much of a judge of human expressions, but the man didn't look very happy. In one hand he held a metal tube. Light shone out of one end. His terrible light, Maskin thought. The figure came closer, in that slow-motion, sleepwalking way that humans had. Maskin peered round the paper, fascinated despite himself. He looked up into a round, red face, felt the breath, saw the peaked hat. He'd learnt that humans in the store had their names on little badges because he'd been told they were so stupid that they couldn't remember them otherwise. This man had his name on his hat. Maskin squinted and made out the shape of the letters. Security. He had a white moustache. The man straightened up and started to walk round the room. They're not stupid, Maskin told himself. He's bright enough to know there shouldn't be a light on, and he wants to find out why. He's bound to see the others if he just looks in the right place. Even a human could see them. He gripped his spear. The eyes, he thought. I'd have to go for the eyes. Security drifted dreamily round the room, examining cupboards, looking in corners, and then he headed back towards the door. Masklin dared to breathe, and at that moment Gerda's hysterical voice came from somewhere below him. His price is slashed! Oh, bargains galore, save us, we're all... Security stopped. He turned back. A look of puzzlement spread across his face as slowly as treacle. Masklin shrunk further back into the shadows. This is it then, he thought. If I can get a good run at him. Then something outside the door started to roar. It was almost a lorry noise. It didn't seem to worry the man, who just pulled the door open and looked out. There was a human woman in the passage. She looked quite elderly, as far as Masklin was any judge, with a pink apron with flowers on it and carpet slippers on her feet. She held a duster in one hand, and with the other she was... well, it looked as though she was holding back a sort of roaring thing, like a bag on wheels. It kept rushing forward across the carpet, and she kept one hand on its stick and kept pulling it back. While Masklin watched, she gave the thing a kick. The roaring died away as security started to talk to her. To Masklin, the conversation sounded like a couple of foghorns having a fight. Masklin ran to the edge of the desk and half climbed, half fell down the chain of clips. The other two were waiting for him in the shadow of the desk. Gerda's eyes were rolling. Grimmer had one hand firmly clapped over his mouth. Let's get out of here while he's not looking, said Masklin. How? Said Grimmer. There's only the doorway. Let's at least get somewhere better than this. Masklin stared round across the rolling acres of dark carpet. There's a cupboard thing over there. What are we going to do with him? Look, said Masklin to Gerda's frightened face. You're not going to go on about doom again, are you? Otherwise, we'll have to gag you. Sorry. Promise? Okay. You can take your hand away. It was bargains galore, hissed Gerda excitedly. Grimmer looked up at Masklin. Shall I shut him up again, she said. He can say what he likes as long as he keeps quiet, said Masklin. It probably makes him feel better. He's had a bit of a shock. Bargains galore came to protect us with her great roaring soul sucker. Gerda's brow wrinkled in puzzlement. It was a carpet cleaner, wasn't it? He said slowly. I always thought it was something magical. It was just a carpet cleaner. There's lots of...
Please, may you take this white thing off?
I can take this white thing off. Look, we're doing a little video thing. Do you want to go and wave at everybody? There you go. Hello. You want me to take this white thing off? I've taken it off. Okay, do you want the orange thing as well?
Yes.
There you go. Right, night, Elizabeth.
Night.
Apologies. It was a carpet cleaner, wasn't it? He said slowly. I always thought it was something magical, and it was just a carpet cleaner. There's lots of them in household appliances, with extra suction for deep down carpet freshness. Good. That's nice. Now how do we get out of here? Some searching behind the filing cabinets found a crack in the floorboards, just big enough to squeeze through with difficulty. Getting back took half a day, partly because Gerda would occasionally sit down and burst into tears, but mainly because they had to climb down inside the wall itself. It was hollow, and had wires and odd bits of wood in it, tied into place by the clovians, but it was still a tedious job. They came out under Kitty's clothes. Gerda had pulled himself together by then and had haughtily ordered food and an escort. And so, at last, they came back to the stationery department. Just in time.